What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Benchwarmer Sports, and I apologize that I have not been uploading the last week or so, but I have been dealing with finals here in college, so it has just been an absolute train wreck. You could probably see in my face and in my eyes, I am absolutely beat from these last 2 weeks, so I apologize for not getting you guys content, but I have been absolutely swamped with final assignments and all of that other stuff and final exams. So I hope you guys understand. But we had a company over as well on Sunday to watch the Browns game and had family over during that day, so I could not get it to you guys then. And then yesterday I had a final exam. But anyways, a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes. Finally I have a little bit of time right now to give you guys my thoughts about the Rams game and about the Browns in general during these last 2 weeks or so. But let's start off with the Rams game first. I think Joe Flacco played pretty well. I expected him to be better than DTR, certainly better than PJ Walker. And he was. He didn't look like he was razzled out there. He didn't look like he was, confused. He didn't look like he was, shell-shocked about what he was doing. He looked like a guy who has been in the league before, who has played NFL games before, and has seen everything that he needs to see in defenses and all that other stuff, and he looked exactly that part. Obviously, the arm strength is still there. That was something that Alex Van Pelt said when talking to the media when he was asked about his arm strength, and he said it was 5 out of 5. Yeah, it is 5 out of 5. You can see most of his passes were, I think, over 10 yards. He had like a bunch of 10+ yard gains. The rapport with Elijah Moore was there as well. Elijah Moore had like 80 yards or so. But I thought, he was good. I thought he, I would give him probably a B performance as a grade. I would probably give him a B. I think he would have been at a B plus if he did not have that pick. But I think as a entire game, you have to give him a B performance. He was good for the first 54 minutes of the game, and in the last 6.5 minutes or so, he wasn't that good, and I think that's when the team kind of gave up. But yeah, that's my thing. The defense is starting to concern me a little bit just because this is the second straight week where they've allowed, or at least the third straight week, where they've allowed over 150 yards on the ground, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that. But the defense is starting to concern me a little bit. I think this just shows that Denzel Ward is a lot more of a valuable person on this team than we originally thought. A lot of people before the season started was wondering, were the Browns better off trying to trade Denzel Ward and, make Martin Emerson the number one cornerback and Greg Newsome the number two. And obviously, after what we've been seeing this season, Denzel Ward is playing at a Pro Bowl level, if not an all-pro level. And he is back to being the Warden. He is the Warden in that defensive backfield. And, I know a whole lot of hubbub was made last year by Greg Newsome about, he doesn't want to play a slot corner. He doesn't want to be a slot corner. He wants to play the outside. He wants to be, this and that. That he didn't like Joe Woods' scheme for him. He doesn't like being in the slot. He's a slot corner. He's a slot corner. He has been, I don't want to say bad, but he hasn't been good the last couple of weeks. I think this was a time for both Martin Emerson and Greg Newsome to step up, and I think both of them have kind of let the opportunity go. We'll see if they, do better against the Jags next week with, no Christian Kirk playing, so it's going to be Calvin Ridley, Zay Jones, those type of guys. We'll see how they're going to fare. But the other guy I think that has to be talked about in terms of the defensive backfield is Mike Ford Jr. The dude's not a cornerback, and he's a backup for a reason. I understand he's a special teams guy. He's a special teams unit guy, but the guy cannot be out there with cornerbacks and covering wide receivers. He's just not good enough. He got cooked all day long. Gave up that one touchdown, I think, to, was it Atwell? Um, but the one touchdown, I think, to make it 20 to 13. That was Mike Ford. Mike Ford also just miscommunicating, doing some wrong things in coverage. But I can't fault him too much because he's a special teams guy. He's not used to being the starter, especially when you have Cam Mitchell out as well with a shoulder injury. So, you know, there's a lot that I'm concerned about as well. Same thing, Myles Garrett. I know he said that the shoulder wasn't affecting him at all during the game, but didn't really produce anything. He had one pressure the entire game. We need to see him getting better because, I think his Defensive Player of the Year thing that he's been wanting for so long and that he was on pace to get, I think it's slipping away. I think it's slipping away fast, and I think he needs to get back to being, that guy again that he was the first 11 weeks of the season. But, he has to get healthy. But overall, I think the Browns were decent against the Rams. I thought they were decent, but they didn't play good enough to win. And I think Joe Flacco's interception, that was the one that, that's when you knew, okay, the game's over. The defense wasn't able to stop them pretty much the entire time. Puka Nacua was absolutely decimating the Browns, both in the air and on the ground. It just seemed like the Browns had no answer for Puka Nacua. And I think that just goes to show the testament and the wherewithal of the Rams for finding that dude in the 5th round. But, I think overall it was a good game plan by Stefanski. Joe Flacco looked fine for the first 54 minutes, but you gotta finish this game. You gotta finish, and they didn't finish the game. But I also did want to talk about the whole drama regarding Browns fans and Deshaun Watson, because I saw some stupid Browns fans talking about Deshaun Watson sitting in a suite and watching the football game while Nick Chubb was on the field. You guys probably don't know if you're on Twitter, Roberto Shenanigans, whatever the dude's name is. He just do not follow that dude. I'm sorry. I know it's shots fired. I know I'm saying names, but do not follow that dude. Do not. Okay. And I think he was the one that was trying to post a picture of, Nick Chubb on the sideline and Deshaun Watson in the suite, and he's like, this is how leaders are supposed to act, and this is how a leader doesn't act or shouldn't act, and completely is trying to hijack the narrative. And, Deshaun Watson was out there, too, in the picture that he showed with Nick Chubb on the field was before the game started. And Deshaun Watson was out there with the Browns before the game started. And then we had later information come out from Mary Kay Cabot that said that the Browns had gotten Nick Chubb, Jed Wills, Deshaun Watson, I think Cam Mitchell as well, both all suites to watch the football game and not be on the sideline just for precaution of not being hit when people go in on the sideline, which is totally fine. But the fact that there's Browns fans, and I understand there's going to be Browns fans who are not going to like him no matter what he does or like what he doesn't do, but those are the Browns fans that we have to get away from. Okay, those are the Browns fans. I know they get that. I know they're the loudest in terms of like social media and in terms of like phone calls and all this other stuff on sports radios and that. But us as a fan base, we need to get rid of these dudes or at least ignore them, because they're not trying to, look at things objectively. They're not. And I know, there's nothing that you can do, okay? There's nothing that you can do with fans like that. I understand that. But it should be our job as like 98% of the other fan bases and the other fans in the fan base to just point out the fact that these guys do not know what the hell they're talking about and then just ignore them. Because all they're doing, they're not helping the situation. They're not trying to make, the Browns fandom, like not feel better, but like they're not trying to report things or say things in an accurate way. They're just trying to stir up drama for the sake of impressions and view farming. That's all it is. It's the same thing with sports radio when you see guys like, and I'm going to name names again, but you see guys like Rizzo, Hammer, guys in every single spectrum, Adam the Bull, all these guys. They're going to say stuff that's going to cause drama, okay? They're going to say stuff. Whether they're not going to admit it, but they say stuff that's going to cause drama, and a lot of people are going to fall in the hands, and they're going to go, oh my God, this is insane. Like, this is what they want people to do. They want people to get riled up. They want people to get, oh my God, like, how dare this person, do this and that. But it should be our job as fans, as the 98% of fans in this fan base, to just go, no, this isn't true. I know the fact that you don't like Watson. Okay, no matter what he does, you're not going to like him. But at least report the full story. At least say the full thing. Because you're not helping the situation. You're not saying what's real or not. You're just being emotional. You're being an emotional person right now. And I understand us as Browns fans, we are emotional just because of what we've been through with this football team. But there has to be a point in time where you have to look yourself in the mirror and go, am I really helping this situation? Am I really looking at things objectively? Am I really seeing things truthfully for what they are? Or am I just trying to put my emotions and my spin and my confirmation bias onto the situation? And I think that's what we're looking at with this whole Deshaun Watson suite situation, which is so freaking stupid because it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. It's really not. It only became a big deal because Joe Burrow was on the sideline Monday night talking to Jake Browning, and nobody was talking about Deshaun Watson being on the sideline for PJ Walker and DTR when they were, starting before he got surgery. Nobody wanted to talk about that. But as soon as Deshaun Watson is shown in a suite while the Browns are losing, then it's all hell breaks loose. But I will say this too. If the Browns would have won this game, would anybody in the Browns, on the Browns, networks, or would anybody on the sports radios, would any of these other guys on Twitter be talking about Deshaun Watson in the suite? No, because they wouldn't care. They only care about this was because the Browns lost, and they needed something to talk about. That's it, okay? So please, do not go nuts over Deshaun Watson being in a suite when literally Nick Chubb and a bunch of other hurt players were put in suites by the Browns themselves, okay? There's no... Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play. Deshaun Watson doesn't want to be out there with his team. Deshaun Watson was going to multiple doctors before his surgery, asking them to play and get, needles and drugged up so that his shoulder wouldn't hurt while he plays football for the Browns the rest of the year. Okay? So that should be the end of Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play football, or Deshaun Watson doesn't care about the Browns. Okay? Those are the people, like I said, who should not be listened to in the Browns fandom. I'm just going to say that flat out because I'm so sick and tired of listening to those Browns fans who get all the attention when they have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Okay? So please just be mindful of who you follow and who you listen to. I don't care if you do the same thing to me. If you want to if you don't like my viewpoints and you think I'm an idiot, I honestly don't care. Like I said, this is my opinion. I do not care if you don't like it. If it's my opinion, you have your right to your opinion. I'd like to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. That's why a comment section is there. But this whole Deshaun Watson debate is so stupid to me. And I think that just the media has just taken over. Browns media and Browns social media people have just taken over this story to make something fit their, Deshaun Watson is bad narrative, when it's not the case. It's just not the case. I'm not I have a lot of issues with Deshaun Watson, but we're really gonna get on him over being put up in a suite by the Browns when other players who are injured for the Browns are in similar suites that were paid for by the Browns. Like, okay, sure. But like I said, Browns, they played well 54 minutes out of the 60. Should have finished the game. They didn't. They had a chance to win. They didn't. The Deshaun Watson thing is stupid. There's your TLDR for this video. That's the summary of my main points. Okay. Now, main thing. Should Joe Flacco be the starter going forward instead of DTR? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. The only reason why is because it's not that I don't think DTR can't play. It's the fact that I think Joe Flacco gives you the best chance to win right now. I think Joe Flacco gives you the best chance to win right now just because he's a veteran, and I think that he's going to help this team more steer the ship in a better direction than I think DTR will. I think DTR might be better for you long term. He'll grow and develop as, he gets more experience. But I think for right now, what you want to do as the Browns, you want to get to the playoffs. You want to compete in the playoffs. I think Joe Flacco gives you the best position or the best opportunity to compete in the playoffs and get to the playoffs, because you need to win at least 3 more games. You need to get at least 10 wins. I think you got immense help right now with the injury to Trevor Lawrence, who, might play, might not play, who knows. But you may have gotten a huge break with Trevor Lawrence getting hurt and Christian Kirk going down for the Jaguars. Then you've got, the Chicago Bears, you've got the Jets, and then you've got the Bengals. 3 winnable games right there, but you have to take care of business this week against the Jaguars. I think Joe Flacco gives you the best chance to win right now. I think he gives you the more confidence. I think he gives you more confidence going forward, especially with the Browns in the offense, and because I think he'll settle guys down, and I think he gives you that leadership that the Browns on offense desperately need, and I think the Browns in general desperately need right now with Deshaun Watson going down. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, I apologize for not uploading this past week, but like I said, been very busy, but I'll be posting a lot more this upcoming month. So make sure you guys are staying tuned for that, and I'll see you guys all in another video. Take care.